Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, we are going to talk about the chapter 4 of the Lean Startup. I'm going to just talk about the summary of this chapter. I hope you're gonna enjoy this video. And before starting off, please subscribe to my channel. It's gonna be a huge support if you can subscribe and follow me on my YouTube channel to continue producing contents on this channel for you. So first of all, on this chapter, he starts talking about if you don't experiment and if you don't fail, you're not gonna learn. So learning and failure is the part of a startup process, it's part of a startup businesses. And if someone is not willing to fail and make mistakes, obviously they can never learn, and eventually they will not be able to build a successful business, obviously. So first of all, he starts talking about an example about like how you know the startup companies should start off the process of experimentation, right? So experimentation is basically about one thing. So you have a hypothesis in your mind, and then you make some predictions about that hypothesis, and then you start testing those predictions about that hypothesis that you have in your mind, right? So very simple hypothesis, predictions about that hypothesis, and start testing those predictions. And the main reason that we start doing experimentation is we want to build a business around the vision that we have in our head. And then he comes up with an example from Zappos company. So Zappos was a company that started off in 2001 by Nick Swinmurn as a founder of this company, right? So his hypothesis to was that people are willing to buy shoes online, right? People are willing to buy shoes online, and then so back in the days there was no shoe store available online that people were willing to buy that kind of product, right? So Nick Swinmurn started going to local stores and started to ask the owners of those shoe stores to take pictures from their shoes. And in exchange of that, they would put those photos on his website. And if anyone wanted to buy those shoes, he would pay the full price to sell those products to those consumers and those customers, right? So this one was uh, his hypothesis, and this is how he started off. And by the way, in 2009, I don't know whether you know or not, but Zappos company was acquired by Amazon for $1.2 billion, which is an astonishing amount of money that they paid to buy Zappos. And um, this is how this company actually started off. And by doing those experimentation, so obviously the company was learning more about the consumers, about their behavior, and they were getting in touch with customers, and they were learning more and more about their behavior. For example, they were learning more about the partners, about the shoe stores, about those people, and what, for example, uncertain behavior that they might have. For example, what if someone was willing to return the product, or they had shoe size problems, or whatever problems they had, over the process of those experimentations, they were learning more and more about customers' willingness to buy, and they were also testing whether there is any demand for those shoes or not. Then in the next part of the book, he talks about the HP company that are trying to encourage their own employees to join to some philanthropic programs within the company and allocate 4 hours per month for like social goods for the society, obviously, and some, like I said, philanthropic activities for the company. So obviously, in the beginning, this kind of assumption is not gonna, it has so many untested assumptions and predictions, and so many untested visions that you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know whether employees are gonna be encouraged to join this type of program or not. So, so their vision, their hypothesis, and their vision was to encourage as many employees as possible to join this program and to actually join this philanthropic idea that they have in their head. So in order to do that, we usually, according to this book, the Lean Startup, we divide and break down this idea into two parts. So the value hypothesis and the growth hypothesis. So I'm going to explain each of them. So what is value hypothesis? So value hypothesis basically measures how much value do we deliver to the target audience? And here in this context is the employees. What kind of value does philanthropic activities deliver to the employees that kind of encourages them to continuously joining this program, right? And then we have growth hypothesis. What is growth hypothesis? It is basically about um, after joining the program, how much do the employees willing to spread the word among their peers and among their coworkers to join their program, right? So this is kind of like the definition of growth hypothesis that we measure, uh, for example, how many people actually were recruited and encouraged by their own colleagues and how much the spread of mouth was working for the favor of the company, basically. And then we have something called the concierge minimum, it's called the concierge minimum viable, which is basically about, yeah, concierge minimum viable product, which is basically about how, when we are testing something, we are testing an assumption, we always have to have some like a limited amount of employees here, for example, or limited amount of customers, and provide them and deliver them some personalized and a specific service for them only, and then measure their behavior to see what's gonna happen, to see how they are going to use the product, right? So this is called concierge minimum viable. And these parts basically are the parts that we have to measure in order to make sure we are doing the right thing in order to test a product or assumption. And yeah, so these are the parts of the book that I just wanted to cover and I just wanted to share with you. And in the last part of the book, he also talks about and Kodak, the camera and video company, that in like traditionally, basically, whenever companies want to produce something, the product manager says, "Okay, I want that product," and then and the engineer says, okay, I'm gonna make it or build that product. But instead of doing that, Renault Kodak company has invented like four approaches and four questions that need to be asked before starting off a product, before starting off to allocate a lot of time from engineering department to build a product, right? Because without these questions, if you just jump ahead and then skip these questions and you just start, building a product or doing anything, chances are you're gonna just waste your time, and it's not worth doing it because it's just a whole waste of time and money and everything, and waste of energy, of course, as well. So, what are those four questions? So, Kodak Company have come up with four questions. So, first of all, do consumers recognize that they have the problem you're trying to solve? So this is a very key question. So are they even aware of there is a problem exist or not, right? And then the second question, if there was a solution, would they buy it or not? So if, for example, in your own industry, if there is a solution for a particular problem, are they willing to spend money for that to solve this problem or not? Right? And then the third question is, would they buy it from you as a startup company or not? And this is the like a very important question, the third one. And the fourth one is, could we build a solution for that problem or not? Right? So can it be built based on the company's resources, based on the capability of the company or not? Because if the answer is no, obviously you don't have to go for it. And a lot of companies, like in this chapter, the author talks about a lot of companies jump into the fourth question all of a sudden without even measuring anything, right? That's why a lot of a lot of basic ideas fail because there has been no measurements, there has been no like nothing at all. So that's why a lot of ideas fail, and many companies or businesses don't work out at all, and they start going bankrupt. So, yep, that's just the summary of chapter 4. I hope you enjoyed it, and I appreciate if you can subscribe to this channel as well. I'm going to be covering more and more contents about business, about entrepreneurship, investment, and philosophy, which I love about these topics. And thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful day.